The crowd's applause faded into an unsettling silence. Patricia Winters, her face flushed with rage, stared at me across the room, her fists clenched. The documents I had just laid out on the projector screen showed the truth in stark, undeniable detail. She had no authority over the lake, the shoreline, or any of the structures built on land I still owned. Her eyes darted around, searching for some way to regain control, but the room was silent, waiting. I took a slow, deliberate step forward, voice steady but fierce. "You've been pretending to lead this community," I said. "But the truth is you've been building a kingdom on borrowed land, and today that kingdom falls." Her lips pressed into a thin line. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came. Instead, her hand shot to her side, probably reaching for her phone or some hidden device. But I was ready. I had anticipated her move. My hand moved faster, pulling out my own phone and pressing a button. The screen lit up with grainy night vision footage from my security camera. There she was, sneaking around my boat in the dead of night. Her figure, unmistakable, inspecting the vessel, her eyes darting nervously. She thought she could hide her actions, but the camera had caught her red-handed. My heart pounded as I pressed play, showing her in the act of scrutinizing my grandfather's boat beneath the cover of darkness. The room's tension thickened. Patricia's face turned ghostly pale as the footage played on. Her hands trembled, and her carefully practiced composure shattered. "Now everyone sees," I said calmly. "This isn't just about a boat or some petty rules. It's about the lies you've been telling, the land you've been trespassing on, and the power you've stolen from all of us." Suddenly, from behind her, a voice boomed. It was Mr. Jennings, the old neighbor, clutching a thick folder of evidence. "I have more," he said, voice steady. "Emails, photos, witness statements. Patricia's been overreaching for months, trying to control our community through threats and fines. We've all seen it, and now we have proof." The room erupted into murmurs. Faces that had been passive moments ago now showed anger, disbelief, and determination. Patricia's eyes flicked nervously between us, her hands shaking. She knew her house of cards was collapsing. I stepped closer, voice lowering but still commanding. "You've used fear and intimidation to run this community. But the truth is, your authority is built on lies. And today, we're taking it back." She tried to muster her usual arrogance. "You think you can just—" But I cut her off. "No, Patricia, you can't. Because I have the original deeds, real verified documents, proving I own the lake, the shoreline, and the land beneath it. And I have the survey results showing your HOA's structures sitting on land they have no right to occupy." Her face twisted with fury and panic. "This is illegal. You can't just—" "I can," I interrupted. "And I will. Tomorrow, morning at 9, I'm calling a community meeting. Every resident will know the truth. And I will serve eviction notices to every illegal structure, every unauthorized building. This community belongs to us, not to a handful of people trying to steal it." The room was silent again, except for the faint hum of the projector. The picture of her empire crumbling was clear. She wasn't just losing her authority. She was losing her entire illusion of control. As I stepped back, I saw her stumble for words, her face a mask of desperation. But I wasn't finished. I reached into my pocket, pulling out a small remote. I pressed a button, and the floor beneath the community center trembled slightly. Everyone looked down in surprise. Then, with a loud crack, a trapdoor slid open at the center of the room. A dark tunnel revealed itself, an underground passage I'd secretly built over the past year, hidden beneath the floor. It was my escape, my secret weapon. And now, it was the moment of truth. I turned to face Patricia one last time. "This lake," I said softly but with unshakable conviction, "belongs to all of us. And I've just shown everyone that I am the rightful owner of what's been stolen. Your reign ends today." Without waiting for her reply, I stepped into the darkness, the trapdoor sealing behind me. The crowd stared in stunned silence as I disappeared into the tunnel, knowing this was just the beginning. The old lies had been shattered, and a new chapter was about to be written, one where the truth would finally set us free. I didn't hesitate. As the trapdoor sealed behind me, I plunged into darkness, each step echoing in the silent tunnel. My heart thudded wildly, not from fear but from the certainty that I was finally taking back what was mine. The cold, damp air pressed against my face as I moved forward, guided only by the faint glow of a flashlight I'd hidden in my pocket. This was my secret, built piece by piece over the past year, and now it was my escape route from her lies. Behind me, I could hear muffled shouts, Patricia's voice, furious and desperate, still trying to threaten me from above. But I didn't stop. I kept walking deeper into the tunnel, knowing that once I reached the end, everything would change. Suddenly, a faint light appeared ahead, my emergency exit. I quickened my pace, pushing through the narrow opening that led to the woods, behind the community center. The fresh air hit my face, sharp and freeing. I sprinted toward the trees, eyes fixed on the faint outline of the lake beyond. Just as I reached the shoreline, I heard a loud crash behind me. The trapdoor shuddered, then slammed open. Patricia's voice echoed through the woods, shrill and enraged. "Stop him! He's trying to steal everything!" I didn't look back. Instead, I ran faster, my feet pounding in the soft earth, heading straight for the water's edge. The moonlight reflected off the still surface of Silver Pine Lake, calm and unyielding. It was the same water my grandfather had loved, the same water I'd grown up watching, and now it was my battleground. I reached the dock. My grandfather's boat was still there, untouched, waiting. Without hesitation, I grabbed the ropes and pushed off from the shore. The vintage wooden vessel responded effortlessly, gliding across the water as if it had been waiting for me all along. I could feel the boat's gentle rocking, steady and familiar as I headed out onto the lake. Behind me, I heard her scream, then the sound of footsteps crashing through the underbrush, but I didn't care. The boat moved smoothly, cutting through the dark water, taking me further away from her reach. I knew she would try to follow, maybe even send people to block the shoreline. But I had one advantage she didn't see coming. I knew the truth. The deed, the survey, the legal papers, they were in my pocket, ready to be shown at the right moment. And when I finally revealed them, her entire house of cards would collapse. The lake was silent, vast, and endless. It was the one place where I could breathe free, where I could plan my next move. I looked back toward the dark outline of the community, but I didn't see her. No matter how loud her voice had been, the water kept its secrets, and I was finally in control. The only question now was, how long could I stay ahead? The boat lurched suddenly, sinking deeper into the cold, dark water as I fought desperately to hold on. The holes drilled through my grandfather's boat had been no accident. They had been meant to destroy, meant to silence. I grasped the fractured wood of the boat's edge, feeling it give way beneath my fingers. Panic gripped me as I realized I was losing everything. My heritage, my family's legacy, the very soul of this lake that had guarded our secrets for generations. The water surged into the hull, heavy and relentless, pulling me downward with a force I couldn't fight alone. My lungs burned. My limbs grew tired, but I refused to give up. Suddenly, a firm grip seized my wrist. No, a forceful pull, Patricia's hand. Her face was twisted with fury and triumph, eyes blazing with a dangerous light. "You think you can take what's mine?" she hissed, her voice trembling with rage. "You think this lake belongs to you?" Her voice echoed like a curse in the silent chaos, but I couldn't breathe, couldn't speak. All I saw was her silhouette looming over me, distorted and menacing. Then, beneath the surface, a disturbance. The water around us erupted. Something beneath the depths was awakening, stirring, clawing upward. The lake had been silent for decades, hiding its secrets in the darkness, but now it seemed alive, furious at the intrusion. The churn was unnatural, violent, as if the very water was fighting back. The holes in the boat widened, the wood splintered, and the water roared as if a monster from the depths was rising. Patricia's grip suddenly loosened. She screamed in frustration and terror, trying to hold on to something unseen beneath the waves. But I was already slipping. The cold, crushing depths pulled me under, twisting my body in the icy darkness. I fought to stay conscious, fighting against the pull, fighting for my life. My vision blurred, the faint glow of the moonlight above, flickering as I sank deeper into the abyss. And then, in that moment of despair, I saw it, a flicker of light, bright and unnatural, piercing the darkness like a knife. It was fast, almost blinding, but I couldn't look away. The glow seemed to pulse with a strange rhythm, a heartbeat from the depths. I reached out instinctively, my hand trembling as I grasped at the luminous shape. It was an outline, massive, ancient and glowing with an eerie blue light that seemed to shimmer and ripple like water itself. The water around it shimmered and shifted, as if responding to some long-forgotten call. The shape was enormous, something buried beneath the lake, long hidden and forgotten, yet somehow alive, pulsating with an energy I couldn't understand. It was a secret that had been buried for centuries, a power that had slept beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to awaken. Patricia's voice, now distant and muffled by the roaring water, echoed one last time. "You'll never own this. Never control what's meant to be free." But her words faded into the background as the glowing shape pulled me further into the depths, into another realm, one where the lake's true heart was revealed. In that moment, I understood everything. The lake was not just a body of water or land. It was a living entity, a mighty force that had watched over us for centuries, hiding its deepest secrets. The truth was far beyond what I had ever imagined. This was a power that could reshape history, rewrite the laws of nature, and decide the fate of every living thing on this land. The glow grew brighter, enveloping me, pulling me into its core. The ancient shape expanded, revealing a structure of swirling energy, an underground temple or perhaps a monument buried in the depths of the lake. Its walls shimmered like liquid crystal, shimmering with stories untold and secrets long kept. I could feel the hum of power coursing through it, a heartbeat that resonated within my own chest. Suddenly, I was no longer just a boy fighting to survive. I was a part of this awakening. The lake was alive, and it had chosen me as its witness, its messenger. I could see visions of the past, of civilizations long gone, of secrets buried beneath the water, waiting for the right moment to resurface. And then the truth hit me. Patricia, her greed, her lies, they had awakened something much darker and more powerful than anyone had ever imagined. This was not just about land or money. It was about control over a force so ancient and vast that it could destroy entire worlds if unleashed. As the glowing shape pulsed with renewed energy, I felt a strange certainty. I understood now that I had to protect this secret, that I was the only one who could guard it. The lake had given me this knowledge, this power, and I couldn't let it fall into the wrong hands. I looked up toward the surface, knowing that the world above was unaware of what was happening beneath their feet. The boat was gone. Patricia was gone. The lake was silent once more, but it was no longer just water and land. It was a living, breathing entity with a mind of its own, and it had chosen me to be its keeper. The power surged through me, and I knew this was the beginning of a new era, one that would forever change the course of history. I took a deep breath, feeling the energy coursing through my veins. I was no longer just a boy. I was the guardian of an ancient secret, the keeper of a force so mighty that the very fabric of reality could bend to its will. And as I floated in the depths of the lake, bathed in its otherworldly glow, I realized I had become something more than human. I had become the bridge between worlds, the one who could unlock the greatest mysteries of all time, and nothing would ever be the same again.